The story I'm going to read next is from the book Spirit of the Cedar People. This story was shared by Chief Lelooska. Raven and Monster Halibut. When only the animal people lived in this world, there appeared a gigantic halibut offshore. He was as big as an island, with a huge twisted jaw and two bulging eyes strangely located on the same side of his head. This giant fish took control of the ocean tides. He pushed the seawater in so high that the animal people couldn't dig for clams or shellfish. Neither could they go fishing in their canoes, for they feared that this terrible monster would swallow them. Finally, the desperate animal people sought counsel from Raven. Raven was a powerful shaman, or supernatural treasure. He alone could solve their problem. The animal people poured out their story of misery to Raven. "We have come on hard times," they cried. "We have no food, and our children will starve. We live in constant fear of this hideous fish monster. Please, please help us." Raven looked at the animal people solemnly and said, "I can deal with this monster, but it won't be easy. Halibut is big and wise. Leave me alone for 4 days. I will consult my powers, and I'll find a way to get rid of this creature." Most of the animal people were pleased with Raven's words, but some of them were weary, for Raven had a reputation of being a trickster and a bragster. Yet, he was their only hope. For 4 days, the tides remained high. The animal people could see the ugly halibut raising out of the dark sea, his bulging eyes staring hungrily toward the shore. They feared it was only a matter of time until he would send a great wave to wash them into the ocean, and then he would have all of them for dinner. Meanwhile, Raven had flown to a distant point of land overlooking the sea. There he pulled his robe closed around his shoulders, and he sang his magic song. At the end of 4 days, Raven came back to the people and spoke. "My dear little friends," Raven said, "now I will challenge the monster. If you like, you can watch from shore as I call the monster up from the depths. Then we will see whose power is greater." Raven returned to the point above the sea and called out across the waters, "Oh, you twisted jaw, you gray creature with bulging eyes, come up from the ocean depths and greet me. I am Raven. I am a powerful shaman." Raven waited, and nothing happened. He called out again, "Oh, great ugliness, you hideous monster, I am waiting." Suddenly, the sea waters began to foam and froth. The terrible, ugly monster emerged from the ocean depth and rolled his bulging eyes towards Raven. "I am the owner of the tides and the seas," snorted the great fish. "I know you, Raven. You're a ball of tricks and lies covered with feathers. If you're a shaman, then show me your power." Raven thought for a moment. "Since I have challenged you, you should have the first opportunity to display your power," said Raven. "Of course, if I fail to defeat you, you can certainly swallow me if you'd like." "Yes, I would like that," said Halibut. "And how will you impress me?" asked Raven. "What can you do to show me your great power?" "I could call up a storm from the sea so terrible that the earth would shake and everything on it would drown," bragged Halibut. "That'd be impressive," agreed Raven, "but if you drowned everything on Earth, there would be nobody left to remember you." "Indeed." "Ugh, you're so right," said Halibut. "Well, I could call down the thunderbirds from the sky to fry you with their lightning and shatter your body with their thunder." Raven nodded his head thoughtfully. "Yeah, I know the thunderbirds," said Raven. "They fly over the ocean and they catch whales to eat. Yes, if you called them, they might just acquire a taste for halibut." Halibut glared at Raven. "You're right again, you smooth-tongued adversary," he said. "Ha, what about this? I'll call up sea monsters bigger and more terrible than I am to devour all the life in the sea, and then the animal people will starve." "My friend, that would be wonderful to see indeed," mocked Raven. "But if the ocean were empty, what would you eat?" "Ugh, Your oily tongue prevails, said Halibut with disgust. All right, Raven, tell me what would impress you then. I am equal to anything, said the great fish monster. Let me make this easy, said Raven. You do look rather elderly, and I'm not sure we're equal. Very well, said Raven. Why don't you swim deep into the water and use your power to do something that you've never done before? What's that? Asked Halibut. Make the ocean boil like water in a cooking box, challenged Raven. Ha, that's so easy. Watch me, behold my power, shouted Halibut, and with a great tidal surge he swam quickly into the deep water. All Raven could do was watch him from a distance. He saw Halibut's huge bulging eyes glaring back at him. Then the fish monster disappeared into the ocean. Steam began to rise. The animal people crowded closer to the shore to behold this miracle. There was more steam than bubbles appeared on the surface of the water. The ocean was boiling. That's pretty good, Raven called out to Halibut. That's a fine trick, but I'm not impressed. The ocean is not boiling as hard as it could be. Soon the steam grew thicker and the water boiled even harder. Clouds of steam filled the sky so that the sunlight faded into darkness. For a long time the ocean boiled and boiled. Finally the waters began to cool, and the animal people discovered Halibut floating near the shore. He had become an island of well-cooked fish. The animal people cheered for Raven. Raven had won. He had tricked the Halibut into cooking himself. Now the tides were free to come and go as they pleased. Chunks of fish floated up onto the beach. Raven sang his feast song, and the animal people and all the other creatures of nature devoured the great fish. When the feasting was done and all the songs of praise were sung for Raven, the animal people gathered the remaining scraps of the monster fish and threw them back into the ocean. The scraps were transformed into little halibuts, the very same ones that live in the deep waters of the ocean today. Habu.